He's right behind you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Avital Ash,
I'm Jessica Richards.
and this is
Brooke Stone.
Yay!
Yay!
She's our guest today on
He's right behind you.
He's Right Behind You. It's a good gasp from Brooke. You guys couldn't see it, but it was
That's
good.
I want to do it like the Southern guy in this. Like, yeah, I don't remember his Fred Gwynny or whatever.
Road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has such a
He's
great
right
drawl.
behind you.
He's right behind you.
I'm bad at voices, so
Me
this
too.
is this is terrible. Every time I try to do somebody and it doesn't work out.
We're talking about Pet Sematary, of
Yes.
course, the 1989 version, which
Not
was
the new one.
sort of chosen by Brooke.
We wanted to do Lisa starring the fabulous Stacey Keenan, but you can't get it anymore. It's like one of those rando movies that like didn't make the cut to like streaming. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you-
it's on DVD at Amazon, so I could have bought it, but it wouldn't have been shipped and gotten to me in time to
Yeah.
watch this.
so now
to
you might
record.
never ever see it in life because
Well, now we need Brooke to fly back from New York.
no
Yes.
big deal.
Next time-
Disposable income.
Next time you come, give us a heads up, and I
Okay.
will buy the movie because it was
Okay.
not expensive,
And we
then
can watch it
we can
together.
watch it ahead of
The
time.
library might even have it, but I
Didn't
didn't
check.
I
That
didn't
seems
check.
like
They were
a
already
movie
closed
you'd
by the
find
time.
at the library.
Yeah. There are a handful of movies I've only been able to get at the library.
I know. I was just at Goodwill before, and I went to get you guys a present because I was in the
Oh.
DVD section, and I got this.
Oh my gosh.
Which one is it? Let's see.
I know who killed me. It was
Oh,
Zero-Hand.
classic
But when I
dual
opened
roll.
it,
Oh no.
the CD was gone.
Oh
the
my
DVD
God.
was
Oh, no.
gone.
Oh my that was so sweet.
Am
and
I gonna
also
bring it back to Goodwill for $2 for a $2 refund?
well, there's a good lesson in this,
Probably
guys.
not.
Always
You
open the
are.
DVD case.
Also, our first gift. Thank you.
welcome.
That's
Your
true.
first
Nobody's
gift?
given us a gift.
Well, you should
Thank
keep
you.
it on the table. For,
We can put
you
stuff
know.
inside of it. We can use it as
Yeah.
a case.
Yeah, I like that idea. We're gonna have to find a good purpose for it.
I
That
know
was
who
so
killed me.
sweet.
That's
Well,
really sweet. Thank you.
I've heard this movie is awful.
I have seen it.
You have?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
And
It's rough.
It's weird.
It's
she
a
like
rough
cuts
go.
her finger off in it, right?
Yes.
It's
Oh.
like really disturbing. That
I want to
really
say she's
bothered
also
me.
missing a leg through some of it.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie, but I did see the part where she cut off her finger and she was like hobbling around with it all like during the movie with just like a little cloth on it. And I
Oh.
was like, oh, isn't the cloth like rubbing on it like this? How are you functioning right now?
It's a great performance by her playing two roles again, like
Right.
like in the
Parent
Parent Trap.
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
That's why there's two of her on the cover.
So she's a slutty stripper and then she's a
And she's a
serious
high school
regular.
student.
Oh.
Or are they the same?
Whoa.
Guys, you have to watch it to find out.
If only we had the DVD.
Yeah.
Normally I would say, why did you choose Pet Sematary? But we were sort of in a pickle because we
It was
didn't
last
have
night.
Lisa. Yeah. Jessica's texting me like, what are we watching? I'm like, I don't know yet. And Brooke was definitely into like 90s horror.
Yeah, I like vintage stuff just
And
in general.
Then I was like, what about Urban Legend? And Brooke's response was great. She was like, that's a movie with hot people. That's not a scary movie. If it has hot people.
Yeah, I'm like Ashton Kutcher is in it, and like I'm sure you wanted to fuck him at that period of time.
Is he in it?
Oh, no,
Or
Jared
Leto?
Leto.
Oh,
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto. Okay, that
Yeah.
was like the butterfly effect or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
saw
god, I
that
love
too.
Jared Leto.
But
Yeah.
either way, like I was
Me
like
too. My
Jordana
so-called life.
Brewster, like who was like mega cool. I'm sure she's still super cool. Always beautiful, but like
Mhm.
you're not gonna be like scared by what's happening
Beautiful
to
people.
Jordana
I know.
Brewster.
Well, I was getting text from Avital, and I was like, she's like, do you want to suggest something? And I was like, should I suggest? Like, it's that weird thing where I'm always like, should I suggest stuff? But then it just feels like people are like, no, I don't want to do that. So I was like, I'm not gonna suggest.
Aw.
I did
Aw.
briefly look up 90s horror to see if in case there
That's
was
what we
needed
did, too.
we
suggestion.
did
Yeah.
90s horror.
We
Because I was
Googled
gonna
it.
throw out single white female.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a classic.
which I've weirdly never seen.
Really?
Which seems crazy. That and I think Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Oh, that was another one I was gonna throw out. Is Hand That
those
Rocks
are
the Cradle.
tough.
I
And I
love,
love
like-
her, Rebecca De Mornay.
Oh,
so I
I
would
just
have been
love movies where the women are the villains.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like makes me feel better about society.
Yeah, I like it too.
Take
like
it
the one
down
we
a peg.
just did, Misery.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You need to watch those. You need to watch those two movies. I wasn't close enough to the microphone.
You can also move it, like so. Can not like that. Not what I did.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Well, we'll do those at some point.
Me too.
Because I love those episodes.
Yeah, maybe you can
Movies.
come back for that. But I think we should try to do Lisa. Those episodes.
yeah.
of
So
movies.
random,
I
but
know,
I
I'm so
literally don't
tired.
think anybody would have seen that movie.
The thing that's extra crazy is there's another Lisa starring
Cheryl Ladd called
That's
The
a
Haunting
Hallmark
of Lisa.
movie. That's
like a Lifetime.
Hallmark.
Yeah,
This-
at first I
this
thought,
1980
she chose a Lifetime movie, but it was not it.
Yeah.
I know, and then I was sending Avatar texts that are like, no, this one is where Cheryl Ladd is the mother of a daughter who's getting prank calls. The other one is where Cheryl Ladd is the mother of a daughter who's having psychic visions. Very different.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We needed the psychic
Both named
visions.
Lisa.
Do you love it because it's scary?
I don't like scary movies. I get really scared really easily. And
It's so funny how many people come on here that say they don't like scary
I know.
movies.
I was just listening to the Exorcism of Emily Rose girl, and she said the same thing. And like,
And Chris just said it.
did he? You know why? Because I don't like you have such little free time, and like during that free time, like I don't want to feel negative feelings. Like I want to watch Bravo, and I want to like watch stuff that will make me stupid and not feel scared. And like last night when I watched it with Avatar and my friend Dave Nadelberg. Hi. And it was, I had gotten out.
Check out Mortified.
Check
That's
out Mortified.
Dave's show. It's great.
Yes, Avatar's in it tomorrow night, but
That's right.
this will be too far away.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty late, and I was like,
And
is
she
this?
plays stand-up bass. Is that right?
Yeah.
For Mortified, which is a total non sequitur. I want to focus on Lisa, but it's
Yeah.
just very cool. So I wanted to say that.
I mean, the first time I ever heard the word marketable was from my bass teacher when I was like 7th grade. He was like, "You're not going to understand this right now, but this is very marketable." I was like, okay. And I'm like a really crappy musician as well. So it's like,
Really?
yeah, I am. Like, I love it. And I
don't
play
believe
with
you.
like the Brooklyn Symphony, which sounds like blows
What?
people's mind. But like, I am the worst person by far. And I can keep up, but like, I am the worst person. You know what I mean? Like, but whatever.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But so I got
so
in
cool.
late, and I'm on Dave's couch, and we're like about to watch it, and I was like, I saw this movie when I was too young to watch a scary movie. So
Mhm.
because of that, it's like images from that movie are like seared in my mind. Like the guy when his head was smashed in, and he's
Mhm.
leaning in the doorway, and the dad wakes up from the dream, and he's like leaning in the doorway with his head all smashed because he was hit by a truck, and he's like, this way to the pet cemetery or whatever. And I remember being a kid, like I couldn't sleep in my bed without looking at my doorway, like seeing the image of that guy. So when I was watching it last night, I was like about to watch it, I was like filled with this fear, this like primordial fear that I was left over from when I was like 9.
What about with Lisa? Because you were excited to do that one. Did it not scare you?
I was scared, but it was like scared in a different way. Because Lisa is about a young girl who like sees this handsome older man, and I don't remember how she like tracked down his number, but she gets his phone number and would call him on the phone, and she'd be like, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah," and they would talk, and it was like creepy and weird in retrospect.
Yeah.
But you know, the guy was so hot.
That's what it was really about.
Like, I guess I learned something about myself.
Yeah.
Hot people don't scare me.
The husband in this was hot.
He was hot too.
Yeah, he
yeah.
felt very like Melrose Place to me.
Yeah.
But he
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
on Melrose Place.
Yeah,
He
totally.
had that like 90s coiffed hair, and he was like a
Yes.
very Brooklyn daddy, even though like he was supposed to be from Chicago, but like, you know, his wife is all like buttoned up, like yuppie, like
She reminded me so much of Rhoda Mitchell.
I
yeah.
know that name. I can't remember who that is.
She's a famous actress.
Yeah, I got that.
That
Thank
one.
you.
Did that help?
Yeah. She
But like
reminded me
so
of-
much so that I looked her up to be like, are they related? Because
Oh,
she
interesting.
looks so much
Okay.
like her to me and sounded like her.
But yeah, and I really was scared last night, and like Dave was like dozing off, and I was like, Dave, I'm like, Dave, it's about to get really scary. Like, please, please don't go to sleep. But then some of it was so mega cheese.
Oh, she does look just like her. I looked her up. Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of it was very cheesy. When
Mm-hmm.
Brooke mentioned it, she was like, "It's really scary." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna wait till the morning. I don't want to have nightmares."
Well, and we started it, and like it starts, and it's like the forest, and it's like
Wait, I just realized because it sounds like we're about to dive into the movie.
Oh yeah,
and we didn't
give
given
our first opening questions
Well,
too.
I didn't introduce you. Like, what do you want people to know about
hi,
you?
I'm Brooke. Brooke Stone. I'm an actress. I play upright bass poorly. I write things occasionally. I play bass with Mortified in Los Angeles.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Oh, and what's your history with horror? Like, what's your relationship with
I don't really like it, so I sort of avoid it, but I am intrigued by it. But if something's scary, like on TV and it's something that I kind of want to see, like I'll tune in for a couple of seconds, like a few minutes, feel it out. But I don't really gravitate towards it. It scares me. I don't like being scared.
That was my thing. Was if I was curious enough, I would
Yeah.
read the Wikipedia, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't watch.
What is like the scariest image from a movie or scene or something that stuck with you? That question is always like just a bunch of words that I throw together.
Yeah.
It's not really a
Well,
question.
one of them was this one I just said in Pet Sematary with the guy in the doorway, and then also another part in Pet Sematary when when the kid slices the ankle
the
with the
Achilles.
scalpel.
Oh.
Like that to me
Yeah.
was like, I just felt like it was so wrong. Like you don't. I mean, when do you see
Yeah.
anyone go after like
Yeah.
an Achilles tendon?
Oh.
Like, and I can't even imagine anything worse in this life than like having that sliced in half with a fucking scalpel.
Brutal. Okay, one more question.
Okay.
We're like the questions are just adding up. So we take different sides on this as
Oh,
far
yeah,
as like
this
what
is a good
scares you the most, kind of. I am really, really scared of ghosts and like possession and that stuff.
Yeah.
And she's really, really scared of home invasion movies.
And torture, really.
Torture.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
like torture.
But it's, I
I
guess,
mean, I also don't like torture, but I'm saying like,
I think what really scares me, I got more specific in the last one.
Okay.
Because that's really what it is that someone's going to break in and torture me. That's
Yeah.
what the
Oh,
home
okay.
invasion fear really comes
Yeah.
down to, is that I'm going to be like tied up and tortured.
Yeah, that's scary. I just worked with this awesome actress. Her name's Ashley Williams, and she was in the movie. What is the movie with they're attached to the human
Oh.
centipede?
Oh, somebody left us a
She
review
was-
saying, please watch Human Centipede. and I
Oh
was
my
like, no.
god, she lives in Los Angeles, so you should totally call her.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, like that, I had only seen a trailer of that, and I had heard through the grapevine about that just when that movie came out, and like what it was. And I watched the trailer, and I was like, no, no, no.
yeah, same.
No.
Same. I've never even seen the trailer. I can't.
Yeah, just knowing what it is
I'm good.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah, very scary.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Just that, but they get like stuck in this, they go to a house and they need help from this guy, and it's this German guy, and they're like overseas, I think, and they don't know where they are, and he like come in and let me help you.
Ugh.
And then all of a sudden he's torturing them.
That really
Ugh.
scares me too. I think the home invasion is like a notch scarier to me because it's like you're not even safe
Yeah.
at home
Yeah.
versus venturing out and somebody kidnaps you. But I am always afraid of like being abducted and tortured.
Did you ever see that movie When a Stranger Calls?
No.
Yeah.
That kind of would be scary to you.
Well,
She's
yeah.
babysitting,
Oh.
and
Do you
Yeah,
think it would
there's
scare me?
something scary about like being at somebody else's house too, where you're supposed to be the adult
Right.
in
That's
charge
what
of like
you
a
responded
child.
to in Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about Halloween is that
Oh, I
feeling.
thought that's what you do like.
Oh, but I
Yeah.
mean, like that's what scares me about
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
like that
yeah.
feeling of being in somebody else's house and having to like take
like
charge.
everything's unfamiliar and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you don't
so
know your way
scary.
around the
Yeah.
same way.
that scares me too because like I have really bad eyes. And so, like,
Me
when I
too.
get scared, my eyes are so bad. Like, if something happened in the middle of the night, like, I can't see anything.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
how would I? I'm like a
jeez.
defenseless
I relate.
You know-
So what's your prescription? Do you know?
-8.
Whoa, you're the
Yeah.
first person to be worse than me.
What's
Everyone always
yours?
goes like, mine's so bad, and then they
It's
never are.
-2.5 or
Yeah.
whatever. That's like my husband.
-6.25
Okay.
and
yeah, I don't know
-5.75.
anybody who has worse than me. I'm not even a LASIK candidate. I have
I'm
to get
not
an
either.
implant.
So, did you do it?
I
No,
wanted to
No,
do
I
it.
also I
but
could
the-
only do
yeah.
PRK.
Yeah.
I researched it for a while, but it makes your eyes dry. My eyes are
Yeah,
already
I'm just
dry.
scared. Like, don't like.
Ugh.
How can you not feel something hard inside your eyeball?
Yeah, and the
like,
recovery is a lot longer
No.
than LASIK. Jake and Amir, whose recording studio we're in, both got LASIK, and I'm so
Yeah.
jealous. Neither of them had bad, like they both were like barely.
Yeah.
Ugh. I have
I'm sorry,
Holocaust
guys.
nightmares, and
Ooh.
always what happens, it's like the Nazis are coming, and I grab Luke, my glasses, and all of my contacts, and I was like, that's enough of a reason for me to get LASIK, is just to like cut out that step.
Or freaking when the
Yeah.
apocalypse happens, like everybody is going to be fighting for contact solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never seen that in a movie.
Yeah.
That's a good note to self if I write a movie about
Yeah.
that.
And
Like people
Also
will
me.
die over
That is
it.
really
Yeah.
smart.
because I have that all the time, and sounds like Brooke does
Yeah.
too. It's a relatable fear.
Yeah, I think about that a lot.
I
but
have good vision. I've never had to think about
Oh,
it.
I always
lucky
think
you.
of like, I feel like there are movies where kids are getting bullied and someone takes their glasses and steps on them.
that's so mean.
It's so
Or it's like
mean.
asthma.
And it
Like
hurts
people
my
take their
heart.
asthma inhalers.
Yes,
yeah, I don't like
exactly.
that.
But I really respond to that. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's awful not being able to see.
Yeah.
having glasses really helps, even just like in the middle of the night if
Yeah.
I have to get up, because I wear contacts most of the time.
Yeah, I don't have glasses because they're so thick
Mhm.
that like now my contacts are in the first thing in the morning, out the very last. I flick them on the floor at the end of the night. Like I never am without my contacts.
Yeah.
And my glasses look like bottle caps. I could never wear them out. Like I'm not cute like with glasses. They're
Actually,
like
I went out a bunch of times with somebody who's an ophthalmologist, and I posted a video of me in my glasses or a picture or something, and he was like, "That's fake. Your vision is not that bad." I was like, "No, these are real. I'm blind. I guess you just don't remember." He was like, "Those are like prop, like jokey glasses for someone who can't see." I was like, "This is my prescription."
Aw.
So mine are pretty thick
Sorry.
too.
yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
We've gone
Thanks,
through some
Jessica.
I'm sorry. I have other problems.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what are your
I
problems?
had really bad teeth.
Oh, did you? They're great
yeah,
now.
I had to have. I had to have braces on when everyone got their braces off.
Oh.
It was one of
My mom has
those.
braces right now. My mom has adult
Wow.
braces.
Really?
Yeah.
Proud of
She's
you,
loving
Mrs.
it.
She
She loves it, Mastriani. But she loves it.
Mastriani,
She's
Mrs.
she
Mastriani.
wanted her whole life. She wanted
Does she have like the
perfect
metal
teeth.
ones, or
Wow.
does she have the clear
She's
ones?
got clear metals,
Hmm.
which is good because I had braces when I was a kid. I didn't wear my retainers. Then
I
paid.
still wear my retainers.
Yeah. Then I got a commercial, and with my money, I bought Invisalign.
Wow.
But Invisalign, you need such good self-discipline.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it, and then I just didn't do it, and now my teeth are crooked. But
Your teeth are great too.
I mean, I've got a few snaggles, but it's whatever.
No, they look good.
I mean, I'll get them again. I think like,
Really?
oh, yeah.
I just think it's so weird. All the people I know that either want Invisalign or have it, I'm like, your teeth are great.
I had such bad teeth when I was a kid, and I had to go through so much dental work and stuff that
Yeah.
I'm still like self-conscious about my teeth.
Wow.
It's like the number one thing I'm like
I would
always like.
never
Some
guess.
people are
hiding
teeth
my mouth.
people.
yeah.
You know, some people like really.
My
That's what they
best
value.
friend had braces forever, Gabby, who keeps coming up in Israel. And because she had a big gap, and so they were trying to force it back into place with braces, and she finally got them off, and she had to get them back on. She just had braces for fucking ever. And then eventually they just added bonding to the inside of her two teeth
So
to
they
like
didn't
make it.
move.
Yeah.
That's what I
It was like
need.
for nothing. It was
That
like
Yeah.
bottom bar thing that they do. Like
Oh.
after your braces, like put the bar down, and then your teeth will not move. I wish I had that.
I'm
Well, I
very
think it's
curious to see
also,
how
like-
much you keep in, Jessica. How much
know.
of this teeth talk?
Well, I think it's also when I was a kid, like I was nonstop having adults tell me that my teeth needed to be fixed.
Ah!
You know what I mean? It's
Ugh,
like my mom's putting all this
that's
money
awful.
into dental work, and like this person, I'd have like 6 teeth pulled so I could get the braces.
Oh,
I
man,
like
you
there
have
was
so many teeth.
all these adults doing these things. So like, who knows if my teeth were really awful? But it made me self-conscious because
Right,
everyone
right.
around me was like, "Yeah, we need to fix this."
How could you not?
I had acne, and I remember Gabby
Oh,
and
I
I would
had
talk about
acne
it. We
too.
both had acne, but people would constantly be like, "Hey, have you tried washing your face?" We're like, "Yes, of course." What kid is not
think of
aware?
that?
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
No, my
It was awful.
orthodontist told me once. I was young, like stupid young, and my orthodontist goes, "When you get these braces off and you lose a little bit of weight and your skin clears up, you're gonna be very attractive."
Oh my God, that's so wrong
That's
on so
wrong.
many
I feel
levels.
bad.
And
for
I was
your
like,
little
"Oh, really?
heart."
Thanks.
too.
You think if I get all that done, gee."
I was at my dentist.
Anything else you want to bring up?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
awful. My
is
dentist
awful.
in the Valley, while he was doing my Invisalign, he I guess also did Botox, and I do not know why he did both. But anyway, we were I was laying there in his chair like for my teeth, and I was like 30 maybe at the time, and he was like, he takes his finger and puts it between my eyebrows, and he's like, "We could do some Botox here. You know, I'm doing Botox." And I was like,
Jesus.
"Oh my God, I had never
Oh
thought
my gosh.
about that." And I was so sad and angered
Yeah.
at the same time.
I did. I
Not
directed
helpful.
this like thing for a salon. I think I was like 24 or 25. I was young.
Yeah.
Maybe even younger because I was still with an ex. Yeah, like 23, 24. And we did this thing for a salon, different like hairstyles and then like cupping and treatments that they offered. And I remember the owner of the salon being like, "You could use some Botox right here," to me.
Guys,
What
don't
is
tell
wrong with
anybody that you
people?
need something.
Yeah.
Don't
We're
It's
all
the equivalent of being
self-conscious
like,
enough.
"Congratulations, when's it due?" Like, just don't try that. Just
Yeah.
don't take the risk.
No.
These
Ugh.
are just our earthly bodies.
Because you're either
Yeah.
going to bring up
Yeah.
something
We're
that
more
we're
than
already
them.
sensitive about, or
Right.
you're going to point something out that we didn't know we needed
Right, you're
to
going
be
to
upset
cause a
about.
new
Yeah.
insecurity.
Pet Cemetery.
Pet
You guys have
Cemetery.
great teeth.
Okay, so Pet
For the record.
Cemetery, I thought that I had seen this movie, and then we got like an hour into it, and I was like, I don't think I have seen this movie at all. I just remember this movie because my sister is 7 years older, and this was the slumber party movie for her. I remember when all of her friends came over and they were all in the living room screaming about the cat. For a while, my sister was like, gray cats are scary. And like as a small child, I was like, noted. Like I've taken this as fact.
Are you still scared of gray cats?
Yes, because not because of this movie, but because my sister was like,
I know,
should
but
know that.
Yeah, but Dave last night was like, I mean, is that cat really scary? It just goes rare and like scares you
and has glowing eyes
and scratches your face.
It's just kind of feral.
Yeah, but like it's
like
not
any
like
feral
it's.
cat.
It's not like it's attacking your jugular and biting it.
It's kind of like the
cat
rules
wasn't as much of a villain as I thought it was going to be.
No, the rules are very inconsistent, which we'll get to as we like go through the story. But you think it would be either it's a murderous cat and anybody else that's buried there is murderous, or they're all not. But
like the pets were like that dog that they mentioned.
Spot.
Story Spot. Yep, Spot.
Real creative name for a pet.
Spot.
It's just about the same as
it's
that
just,
dog.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that like Church is such a creative name for a cat, and Spot is like, did you run out of creativity when you were naming the dog?
Church
they didn't have creativities in the 50s because that's when.
Or you're a dog, you're Spot.
Like I will say, the older guy Judd, he throws out so many dates where I was like, how old is he?
It's so
He's
true.
like before the war and all these things where I was like, wait a second. Wait.
Before the war.
I'm getting really confused on our timeline here.
I will say that normally, as soon as I see a pet in a movie, my impulse is I want to go check doesthedogdie.com.
Yeah.
Even though it's a thing, and it's not just dogs. It's like any of like the horror movie triggers. There's also like nails on chalkboard. So I was like, I want to check if this cat dies on doesthedogdie.com. But it's called Pet Sematary. So I was like, I'm just not going to check, and I'm going to assume that.
I knew the basics because I used to watch that Bravo thing that was like 100 scariest movie moments or something, or it's 100 scariest movies or something. But I used to watch it every year. They'd show it on Bravo. And this was number like 32, and it was the Achilles. It's like the scariest movie moments. So and in that one, they like do a brief thing where they're like, cat dies, cat comes back. Kid dies, kid comes back. So I knew like the basics from this movie. I knew it was coming.
I'm going to keep bringing him up, but Dave was like taking big issue with the fact that it was light on the pets.
Yeah.
He was like, I agree. Cemetery. He's like, where are all the pets? I'm like, you're right. It is light on the pets.
Also, the action is just beyond the pet cemetery.
I know, but
that's
the
what I
segue.
took issue with.
It's the segue. It brings you into the story.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess it's a more memorable title than like Indian Burial Ground, which is
place,
a recurring
place
thing.
beyond the pet cemetery.
Yeah.
Where the
little
dead
wordy.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing.
So this is based on the novel by Stephen King, but also screenplay by Stephen King, which is
he
cool.
did the screenplay.
And I did think it was scary.
Okay.
I think it's brutal.
The cinematography, like, it looks dated. Like, it looks dated. So, like, when it opens up on, like, the lighting, like, looks dated, or, like, it's from that time period.
Yes.
But then the kids are like, la da dee.
Oh, that opening the score, and it's like,
like
like
all
a
the
choir.
Kids, when the kids are singing scary.
And it builds to like
and
a
you can hear them
screech.
talking, like,
That really scared me.
Yeah, and they're
Oh,
talking
that
about their
happened.
pets that are dead.
Oh, that part.
Yeah,
They're
they're
like doing
talking in the
epitaphs.
background.
Did I
Like,
say that?
Yeah.
yeah, and that scared me. And when that started, I was like, I don't want to do this, Dave. I don't want to do this. I don't want to watch this. Like, I don't want to.
It's almost, I think the beginning was almost scarier to me than anything that came later.
It had moments. It like had moments where it was I thought were really scary, and then moments that like didn't hold up, and I was like, oh my god, that was so cheesy and bad acting, and like
the trucks really scared me. The
yeah.
idea of like how fast those trucks go
oh
down
my god,
these
that
roads
scares
by
me
the
as
houses.
a mom now too. Like
It scared me so much. Every time it happened, I was like, move.
Right.
like
Move.
this is
Don't.
not going to be
Why
bad.
would you?
Yeah.
The one thing I know that it's meant to be foreshadowing, but by the time the
There's a
truck
lot of
does
foreshadowing.
do damage, I was like, because I was so scared the first couple times that by the third time I was sort
You
of
were over it,
desensitized.
yeah.
I thought we were going to see the cat get hit by a truck.
Mm-hmm.
The cat's death is off screen.
Yeah.
It is, and when you see the dead cat, it doesn't look like it was hit by a truck.
It does not look like it was hit by a
Like
truck.
you, yeah.
Yeah, and even when they
Maybe
bring
not
the
a heart
cat,
wanted
attack.
more gore.
No, I just wanted
see
to
a
be
swooshed
realistic.
in.
I feel like the
We'll
cat.
keep it off screen, you know.
I feel like the cat almost got hit by a truck and was like, "Oh my god!" And then like had
Like
a heart
died of a
attack.
heart attack.
Yeah,
It
that's
didn't-
better.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Well, same with the kid. like at the end when he comes back, he has a scrape on his forehead. It's like, well.
But the kid, that scene of the kid getting hit by a truck was brutal.
That is really upsetting. And
Yeah.
I was like, I
pressed mute. I didn't want to hear it.
I didn't want to see it. Like, I knew it was coming, and I have a 2-year-old, and I was like, that's like one of my biggest fears
Yes.
is like, you know, her or my son who's crazy, like run into the middle of the road and like, you know, and that's happened like several times where I had to like grab him by the shirt and he just keeps moving. And I was like, oh, this is interesting, like seeing it again as a mom, like that in itself. And Dave was like, oh my God, they went there. Like he couldn't believe that the kid got hit. Like they killed a toddler. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess in the remake, spoiler, they kill the older child.
Yeah, older child.
Yeah, in the book, it's the little kid, too.
Yeah, it's
They're just trying to do something different in the remake.
Right.
But the new one, we watched the trailer afterwards, and it genuinely looks scary as all hell. Like,
it's the remake looks really scary.
Yeah.
I know, I feel like I should see it now, but I also...
The trailer has, like, those key moments. Like, they really played, it seems like they... did those moments. And John Lithgow plays the
Okay, so I remembered that John Lithgow is in that, and as like we were like 45 to an hour through this, and I turned to Brad and was like, who the fuck does John Lithgow play? And he was like, he's not in this one, he's in the remake. But I was genuinely
You're waiting for John Lithgow the whole time. It was ruined for her. She couldn't get scared because she was
like,
waiting
okay,
for
at some point he's gonna be like the antithesis to Judd Crandall. He's going to be the the other side
battle
of it.
guy.
Yeah, because like Judd Crandall, you think is like this really nice, warm neighbor who's going to take them under their wing, and he sucks. He is a bad guy.
He's a bad guy?
He's legit a bad guy. Why does he knows that when you bury a pet in that cemetery, it comes back
I
wrong.
know. What is he thinking?
And he knows that
he's trying, but it's very misguided.
It is a little creepy. You're like, there's some
Why would you, if you knew that your dog came back and it was aggressive and different, why would you tell him make him bury the cat
like a toddler
there?
and a little girl. It's like, why are you trying to keep them unsafe?
And then later, when we learned that a person had come back, he was like leading the mob to go set the house on fire.
That to me was one of the scariest moments.
The guy's family
so
in it.
Scary.
The guy's family was still in the house.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that he was leading the mob.
He's like a straight
or he's at
up
least
murderer.
part of it.
He was the one that was like, "Come on," and he's like pushing in the windows and stuff.
The women came to us men, and we had to do something or whatever. But whoever's leading it to me is almost. It doesn't matter. It's just the terror of the angry mob. Like,
the guy's
what
family
are you doing?
is still trapped inside when they set the house on fire.
Yeah. Also, you could pull the guy out and kill him. You don't have to set the whole fucking house on fire.
I saw a movie recently that had that same similar mob thing. It was called "We've Always Lived in the Castle," and there was a mob scene like that too, where the mob like breaks into the house and just starts like trashing, and the people are running and they're like. That are, you know, trying to find a like safe place, and just these people are like ravaged, like trying to steal all this. Anyway,
the angry mob is I think a real scary thing.
Yeah. Well, and the guy who comes back in the 1920s is very different than when Gage comes back. He seems more like Church the cat. Is it Church or Churches?
It's Church for Winston Churchill.
Okay, Church. I keep on calling him Churches, like the chicken. But he seems more like Church. He's like aggressive, but he's not like Gage. When Gage comes back, he's like, I've come only to murder.
Right. Yeah. He's fully there to kill, and that's it.
Be cute.
Well, very strong for a toddler to be able to do.
Well, he's a demon. So.
Yeah, but still a demon toddler. A toddler demon. I don't know what the PC term is.
I did like that this was directed by a woman.
Yeah.
Me too.
I thought that was cool.
Until I had problems with it. But there's also some great things about it.
We haven't seen that many horror movies directed by women yet.
No. Yeah. We really haven't. It's funny because I could see, you know, the guy who gets killed, who's like missing a big chunk of his head. What is his name?
Pascal. Oh, I loved him, especially towards the end.
Well, I could see him being really scary as a kid, but to me now it felt very funny.
Well, that's the thing. Like I know, and it was funny too because I was like, this is a scary image, but then the guy playing Pascal was like, he was like talking in that like fake voice, like, don't go behind the what, and I was like, oh, that's such an interesting acting choice. Like, why wouldn't you just be like normal and scary? Like, your
Yeah.
head is like exploded and you're like terrifying
He's like in a
already.
comedy, that
Like,
guy.
yeah, but also I didn't realize until now watching it as an adult that he was a good guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Although he kind of helps guide the wife home, which leads to her dying.
That's
So
true.
ultimately, he doesn't end up
Yeah.
helping, but he's trying to help.
Can we run through the movie just a little bit?
Yes.
Because I am coming with it. I feel like all these movies I'm like down for the discussion, and this one I'm like, okay, I really hadn't seen it, so I'm like really wanting to go not step by step, but like some of
Yeah,
these
kinda
plot
set
points
it
because
up.
it was very. I don't want to say terrifying. It did like the movie just felt brutal to me. It
Yeah.
felt like people were really mean to each other.
Yeah.
Who is really mean to each other? It's
Okay,
interesting, I didn't feel that
My
way.
number one issue with this movie, which I
Mhm.
could go on for forever, is what's the husband's name? Do we know?
Lewis.
Lewis's relationship with his in-laws.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was so weird.
That was weird.
Okay.
Do we
What is
know
happening?
why? It was
Yeah, they like hate him,
Nope.
and it's like he's a
But
doctor.
you don't know
We
why.
don't
He's the
know why.
father
We
of.
don't know why.
We never know why.
He's theoretically
Um,
what you would want your daughter
exactly.
to be married to.
Right.
Okay, so
Good
I
dad.
want to talk about this for
Yeah.
like a few minutes. We're introduced to this strife relationship. So far, we have nothing to think that he's bad. Lewis is a doctor.
Mhm.
He's married to his wife. They have 2 kids. I mean, sure, they're on the side of a road that's very busy. I would have moved.
Also, it's kind of weird that she's never seen the house. She's like, it's beautiful. Like they're moving in, and she
I
just
didn't-
never
right?
saw
As
it.
soon as that first truck passed, I would have been like, we
Oh,
got
we're done.
We gotta
We're
go
out of here.
somewhere
We've got
else.
small children.
Yeah,
like, we're not
yeah.
living like this. Bye.
Yeah, and then they go to the pet cemetery, and the neighbor is like, "Oh yeah, this is built by all the pets that have died based on the trucks."
Road. And he
I
said
also want
road
to
so
point.
weird.
Oh,
What
did he? I
if-
didn't
Did he?
notice that.
How would you not know? He was like, oh, yeah, that road.
Yeah, he's got an interesting accent.
I guess that's the main accent or something.
I guess so. I don't know.
would you not pick
I
that up?
want to say, this is probably a controversial opinion, but I feel like as a kid, what you always do is go, how do you spell cemetery? And so it being like so grossly misspelled bothers me. I don't think
It did
like-
bother me too. Because I
Yeah.
thought there's something about how it's spelled that kind of scares me because I'm like, what does it
It's
mean?
so wrong.
Right.
And then when they explain it in the movie of like, oh, I guess it was just misspelled by a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
that's it?
Kids always with a word that big, they go, how do you spell that?
Yeah.
I thought it
Always.
was going to have a different meaning.
Yeah.
That was going to scare me.
It would have been cool if there was something
Not just,
more
like,
layered.
ignorance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Kids are dumb.
Okay, so it's Thanksgiving, and the family is flying to Chicago to be with her in-laws, but he's not going. And I was like, well, obviously he's not going. He's a doctor. He has to work doctor
Right,
hours.
why didn't they just make it that?
But that's
Yes,
not it.
yep.
They say, like, purposefully that it's like...
Like, your parents will never accept me as part of the family.
says-
Why?
She says, it's a family holiday. He says, that's why you're going without me. As far as your dad is concerned, I'm never going to be a part of this family. And she says, but I want you around. And that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah. Also, later, because when they fly
What?
back, I realized that they flew. They weren't driving.
Yes.
So it's like, this should have been a conversation earlier. Didn't you have to buy
Yeah.
plane tickets and figure this out?
But then later, okay, so they're there at Thanksgiving. He calls, and the mother or mother-in-law is like, Goldman residence. And he's like, hi, Dory, it's Lewis. You want to talk to your daughter? There's no like, oh, hi, happy Thanksgiving.
Right? They hate him,
Yeah.
but they don't ever tell us why.
No, they
Yeah.
like really hate him. And then
Oh,
later
yeah.
at the funeral for the kid, the dad like punches him and is like, I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
Why didn't you protect? Yeah,
and
you
then
killed the kid.
And they knock over the coffin, and the coffin
Yeah.
opens and closes real fast, and
Yeah.
you see like the little
hand
arms.
or
side
Yeah.
there.
And then somebody pulls the dad up and is like, "Don't do this. Not at your
Yeah, the
son's
priest.
funeral." And
yeah,
it's like,
you're like
but
that was the dad did
Right.
that.
He's
Other
being
guy's
the
He
asshole.
started it.
Wait, so when you're saying you feel like people are mean to each other, do you mean primarily that, or are there other?
I
people
felt like
being
that
mean?
whole thing was really mean in a way that I couldn't get behind,
Mhm.
and it made me
Well, it
feel
just didn't really
bad.
make
And then
sense.
the crowd thing.
The crowd thing. I thought the neighbor was really shitty that he kept kind of doing all this thing, and then after it's done, being like, "Yeah, I knew that was going to turn
I know
bad."
it would have been better if the neighbor had actually been bad. Like if they were
Yeah.
playing
Because
him
it's
as
not like he would ever know to like. He would never venture out behind the
Right.
pet cemetery
Yes.
to like. Why tell him
Yeah.
that?
That's
and
the
then he
same
was
with
like, I didn't
Pascal.
think that your little girl could take the loss of a cat. It's like, oh, but her little brother's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
But
okay,
she'll
so
never
then,
recover from a cat dying.
Okay.
Although at one point the husband says, Or
I have
maybe
so
it's
many
the old man
thoughts.
says, like, no, I think it's the husband. I think Lewis says, well, she's going to have to learn. No, I think it's the neighbor. She's going to have to learn about death at some point. And the wife is like, why?
Yeah, that was such a weird moment. She
Yeah.
was like, why? Like, she was like,
Yes.
it was about something
The wife
else.
I
Like,
thought
Yes,
was
like,
mean,
because
personal.
people
Well,
are going to
'cause
die.
We
Yeah.
find out that she had a fucked up childhood
Yes.
where her sister had spinal meningitis.
spinal bifida.
Yes.
Spinal bifida. What is it?
Wait,
I thought they
Spinal
said spinal
meningitis.
meningitis,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
doesn't really make sense because the meninges are around the brain.
I don't
No,
know.
So maybe
okay.
maybe they're
I do know
connected.
something about, when you get meningitis, they
It
have to do a
affects your
spinal
spine.
tap.
I see. Can I also point out that I feel like it's a little bit both like illness shamey and transphobic, that sister character, because they have a man.
Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be transphobic.
I don't think they were trying to be
No,
transphobic.
what I
but
read
I think it ends
online-
up. I read it too, that they thought
Yeah.
a man was scarier.
that they wanted it to
But
look
it's
scary.
still like a man dressed as a girl.
The thing
It
with
ends
that,
up, I think, still being like a little problematic.
well, what's problematic is that, so the daughter's really sick, the older daughter, what's
Mhm.
Zelda.
Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And so they lock her in a room,
Yeah,
and then the parents go out of town,
right.
and they leave their
Which at least they
8-year-old.
call this out in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they leave their 8-year-old daughter in charge of her.
So maybe they're
Yeah.
just bad parents, bad people, bad all around. It almost
That
made
whole
more
thing was
sense
Yeah.
that they hated the son after you see that, because you're like, okay,
Yeah, like the dad.
They're
just
bad parents.
The hot dad, probably hates the in-laws because they were, shitty to his wife.
right, right.
Well, and then we get the monologue from her where she.
I
Where
love
she's like,
he
oh.
interrupts her. Do you notice that? She's like, my sister. He's like, I know, she died. Yeah, okay, let her finish her sentence.
But that crazy monologue where she's like, I was scared that they would think that I killed her because I did want her dead, and then I ran outside and I was crying, but I realized I was laughing.
I realized I was laughing.
And his response is, I'm going to get you a Valium.
Oh my God. And then she
Yes.
goes, I don't take those.
She was like, you do tonight.
yes. It was like
What
weirdly
kind
frightening.
of a doctor is he?
Yeah. Forcing
kind of
it.
doctor.
But see, all that felt,
I'll take it.
all of this feels brutal to me. How
Yeah.
she is treating the daughter about undermining this whole thing about, oh my God, when they go to get the cat, I'm just all these random thoughts. When they go to get the cat spayed or neutered,
yeah.
and the daughter's like, promise me that church is going to be okay. And the wife goes, yeah, promise her.
No, first she says, don't shilly-shally, Lewis.
Yeah.
Give the girl a promise. What?
What?
What
Yes.
the fuck is shilly-shally? And also, I feel like this is a very bad lesson. Like, no, explain to her that you can't promise because you're not in
that's
control of the world.
crazy.
And also, you're
Maybe
a
it was-
doctor. Doctors know more than anyone that you can't promise.
Yeah. Say that you don't know.
She was, I don't know.
That
Yeah.
whole relationship was problematic.
Don't shilly-shally.
Don't
What?
shilly-shally.
I wrote it
How
down.
did I not pick up on that?
'Cause
And
it was
then
so
when,
nuts.
when Pascal, who is like a young kid, he's like a teenager who gets hit by a truck
Mhm.
and is bleeding out of his head, he's taken to the hospital, and our hot doctor
Mhm.
is like,
shines a light in his eyes, even though he seems to be dead.
well, he says we need to call an ambulance. Like, he needs to go to a real hospital.
Why is
And-
this not a real hospital? I guess they don't have access.
Like an
to-
emergency room.
Okay.
Like somewhere where they do surgery. I feel like this is just a small town
Okay.
general doctor.
Okay.
And they're like, he needs to go to an ER for surgery, obviously, because his brain is hanging out. But so then they're like, he's putting the thing on him, and it's not clear that he's dead, okay?
Right.
Because they're like, we need an ambulance fast.
Right.
And then there's blood oozing out of his brain, and the doctor doesn't put anything to hold
Nope.
pressure.
Nope.
He
He just,
didn't really do anything.
He
at
Instead-
just
all.
shined a light in his eyes.
well, I thought for a minute he did like oxygen a little bit
Oh,
in the
I
mouth.
missed that. If
Oh,
he did.
yeah, he
But
did
then
oxygen.
when everybody leaves and he's alone with Pascal,
He just sits
stops
down.
and
He does
sits.
nothing.
He does nothing.
Yeah.
What a terrible doctor.
Yes.
Even I, just from watching
Oh,
Grey's Anatomy,
he
I'm like,
also-
put pressure on the wound.
I guess he decided he was dead because then he does. The doctor closes the guy's eyes.
Eyes.
Yeah,
But then the guy
with his
pops
fingers.
up.
Right, which then I was like, okay, you thought he was dead and he wasn't.
What
but
did
then
he
I think it's
say
the
when
ghost
he popped
thing.
up? Because
Oh,
he
he
said
says-
something.
Lewis, the soil of a man's heart is stonier. And then Lewis says,
How do
did
you know my name?
Yeah. And then he says,
That's what's weird to you about all of this.
Like,
a man grows what he can and he tends it. Okay, and IMDb, for some reason, broke down what that means in the
Uh-huh.
trivia, which is, he is basically believing that a man's heart is harder to penetrate with love and emotion, but also how tough his heart is. He believes that he is the keeper of many secrets. However, in many instances, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to keep going. It's a long explanation that I was like, this doesn't clear up what it means.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to matter. confused by the fact that Stephen King wrote this screenplay.
Well, what
he did write it because his daughter's cat. That's another thing I thought was weird. How they keep saying it's the daughter's cat, not their cat. Your daughter is a child. It's your cat.
Yeah.
That his daughter's cat did get run over by a truck and they buried it in a pet cemetery.
I mean, the premise I'm behind. I just am confused by some of the lines of the screenplay.
Yes.
Let's call Steven.
Yeah. Steven, I'm a big fan if you're listening.
Huge fan.
Just confused by some of this here and there. I also tried to look up what his response to the movie was, but I couldn't really find it.
Oh.
Also, he was on drugs for a long period.
Wrote it, so I feel like.
Well, but sometimes they make changes in shooting.
Yeah.
So he could be like,
But it also was in the contract that they filmed like in Maine near his house. I
oh,
feel
interesting.
like
And he
had
has a
control.
cameo. He's in it.
He
Yeah.
is in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun
That was fun.
discovery. Also, can I just say that when he discovers the cat, when Crandall, the neighbor, shows him the cat, the hot doctor goes, "Yep, that's Church all right." He doesn't avert his eyes. He doesn't look like the slightest bit like, oh God. He just like looks straight at his neighbor and goes, "Yep, that's Church all right." Like, I feel like in a real version, you would be looking down, sad.
I know.
He
It's
just
like a soap opera.
There is like
Yeah.
a weird
in a
thing of
soap
like
opera.
it's his
Yes.
daughter's
I don't wanna
cat,
hate on
not
that.
his
Yeah.
cat. He's
Yeah.
not.
But even knowing it was going to make your
Emotional.
daughter sad, wouldn't that make
It
you
was
sad?
interesting. He was very handsome throughout the movie.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
I was like, stop being so handsome. You've got your daughter on your lap. Like, you don't have to worry about being mega handsome right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Very McDreamy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
That's
what
hot.
he's doing now. I want to see a picture of
Um,
him now.
Also, when he finds him, he says, "I'll bury him in the morning." But it's morning now.
Well,
and
it's
you're
nighttime.
3 feet. It looked like it was morning.
No,
I'm
it was
going to
dark.
put it in the garage, he said.
Yes!
I was like,
You're
Yeah.
3 feet from a pet cemetery. Why are you going to put it in the
Well, I
garage?
get it's like dark outside. I'm not going to a pet cemetery at nighttime. I'd wait till the
Yes.
sun comes
It
up.
looked like
But he
morning to me,
says,
fine.
the neighbor says, well, you know, like if it
Yeah,
makes you
yeah.
feel better, it doesn't
Maybe
look like the
dusk.
cat suffered. And his response is, yeah, well, my daughter's going to suffer.
I mean, everyone's so defensive, like
Yeah.
in random times.
Yes.
Settle
But it's like
down, you
nobody
guys.
gives a shit about the cats.
Right.
Yeah, he
Whereas-
wasn't like, oh,
Right.
my
Like my
cat.
dog died
Yeah.
a year ago and I'm still like fragile. And the
Yeah.
fact that no one is
Yeah.
upset
My dog
about
died
this
8 years
cat.
ago, and I'm still
I
fragile.
know.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah.
so upset about church, and then I was really mad that nobody else was upset about
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
Justice for church.
Justice for church.
Oh, also, when the little girl's worried that he's going to die, she says, "In the end, he's going to croak, isn't he?" Asking about the cat. But, like, what little kid uses the word croak?
I don't know.
Could have been the 90s.
Yeah,
Some dialogue I'm
guess.
like could have been popular
I
in the
hated
90s.
that little girl.
I thought she had some really good moments.
She had moments, like when she was in the bed and she was crying.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh
like, this
yeah,
is
that
really,
was really good.
That was really,
That was maybe the
really
best
good.
acting of the
Yeah,
movie.
it was really good acting. And
Yeah.
then sometimes I was like, oh my god.
It looks like all of those people continued to work.
Well,
Like
this
a lot.
was a very successful movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at. I'm trying to.
I do think one of the really scary parts to me. So he has a dream where Pascal, who's now dead, comes and is
Mhm.
like, okay, and is like, come with me. I'm going to show you something that you should never do. And I was
Right.
like, but he wouldn't know about it if you didn't
Yeah.
show
no,
it
you
to
told
him.
him how to do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kept being like, this part right here, don't go there. Do you see it? Do you see the
Yeah.
part? Don't go into that part.
Which I guess
Um,
does pay off because the neighbor tries to show him. But why? Why does your
Okay,
you're
but
right.
then the part that did really scare me is the morning when he wakes up and he whips off the sheets and his feet are covered
Yeah.
in mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
That
get
made me jump.
That gets me. That like theme
It
is
was
in like a
real.
lot of different
that like it was a
movies,
dream. No, it
But
wasn't.
then there's
It
like
wasn't a
something from the
dream.
dream in real life,
Yeah.
and I don't. Yeah,
That's so scary. If I woke up after a nightmare and I had mud all over my feet, I would probably die of a heart attack.
yeah, that is
That's
really scary.
terrifying.
Yeah.
There are some really scary elements in
Mhm.
this movie, but a lot of it just made me feel bad because I thought people were so mean to each other.
Interesting.
The feet thing to me was overshadowed by the fact another movie trope. He like goes to wash the sheets to like hide the evidence.
Yeah.
But like you're a doctor, you're in a supportive marriage. Like why wouldn't you
Why
go
would
to
you tell your wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
because the wife is also like, let's not tell our kids about death.
right.
Like the wife
That's
doesn't
true.
seem
The wife
super
is dealing with
supportive.
other things.
That's
like
true.
she
She's
really
still
has
dealing
a
with
lot
the death
going-
of her
she's
sister.
but
going
even
through.
on a very
Yeah.
practical level, if he's like sleepwalking,
Yeah.
that he should know. Like the wife should know. That could be very
She
dangerous.
doesn't feel very supportive to
No,
me.
she's
No.
checked out.
But he's
Mhm.
madly in love with her, I guess. We find out at the end.
Because one of the parts that really upset me the most is Gage's death. So they're
Mm.
all out at a
Of course.
picnic. It's the wife, the neighbor Judd, the hot doctor husband, and the two kids.
Yeah.
And they're flying the kite. They're all having a great time. And they are all a part of this death.
Mhm.
Nobody is watching Gage.
Mhm.
And then when Gage starts taking off into the road, the neighbor and the mom are yelling at the hot doctor dad to go get Gage.
They're not actively going to get
They're
Gage.
not going to get Gage, nor are they yelling at Gage, which we
Right.
have learned that Gage can speak and
Knows
understands
his
things.
name.
That if you, I don't have
And it's
kids.
weird to me that they're not shouting his
But
name.
it is,
I
yeah,
thought
that I
too.
did think it was weird that the mom wasn't shouting Gage's name. She's just talking to the dad.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, the dad trips and falls and doesn't make it in time to grab Gage before he gets onto the road. But then at the funeral, her dad is blaming him. This was your fault. Why weren't you watching him? They were all there.
Right.
Yeah.
They
It's not
all
cool.
are to blame.
It's
If
true.
he is. They're all equally
Right.
to blame.
Right.
Or not
Everybody's
blame.
equally responsible.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's so
Or
scary.
irresponsible.
And it's just like it could happen to anybody. I think it's if you're gonna really take that route that this is his fault, then it should have been something where it's just him and the kid.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But to have them all be there, it's like
Yeah.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right. It does. There were a lot of things that they could have done that would have been simple tweaks that would have made it make a lot more sense. But that's
Yeah.
always easy to say when you didn't write it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like maybe everybody watch the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Be in
Instead
it
of fighting over
altogether.
the kite, because the little girl wants the kite, and then the mom is weirdly like, "I want the kite too. Is it my turn?"
Oh, I
didn't
didn't
catch that
the
part.
mom.
Yeah, where I was like, I don't know, lady, watch your kid. Maybe don't be so concerned about the kite.
Don't be so concerned about your business suits. Wasn't she's like wearing like business suits
Yeah.
every
What
like
does she
every
do?
she's
Yeah, what
never
is her
comfortable. This
job?
woman is
Yeah.
like never
We
comfortable.
find out he's a doctor, but she dresses like a high-powered professional.
attorney or
I
something.
never know her
Yeah.
job. Yeah,
They never tell us. Also,
they do have a housekeeper.
we didn't directly
Oh my
address.
God.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
That was weird.
that one little bit where she's like, "I always dreamed I'd marry a doctor."
Must be nice marrying a doctor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
I always thought I'd get lucky and marry a doctor. Wish I had a doctor around with my stomach pain so bad. Guess I'll never be lucky.
Guess
Hell,
I'll
I ain't married to no one. And then Mrs. Creed goes, "Bye, Missy."
Yeah.
Like she's just normal about it.
Well, Brad was watching this with me, and he kept going, "That's Melissa Leo," and I was like, "It's not Melissa Leo." Like he would not believe me. Even I brought up the
That's
actress,
so
and he was like,
funny.
"I don't know. I still think it's Melissa." Leo."
That's so funny. Wait, so we never actually addressed the area where he's not supposed to go that Pascal shows him, and then later, what's his name, the neighbor, takes him to Judd. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk about this. The cat
It's-
dies.
Yes.
And he's like, all buried in the pet cemetery. And the guy's like, follow me. We're going to a different spot.
Is it
Mhm.
past the pet cemetery?
Yes,
behind
they have
it,
to
Yes.
climb over a thing.
which looks like all of a sudden they're in like this weird desert. I always
Yeah.
like
That whole thing
threw
is
me.
so bizarre because
It's like climb over this, don't look down.
don't look down
Yeah.
and walk exactly where I walk because I've been here.
Yeah.
And then they go over it, and he's like, we're almost there. Then they go through a weird woods where they hear,
the weird like monster noises.
yes, and he's like, it's a loon? Is that what he
Yeah,
said?
he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's just a loon.
I don't know what that is.
It's a bird."
Okay.
And he's like, be quiet, be quiet.
Great.
It's just a loon. And then they keep going, and at a certain point, they're like on the edge of like a
Well,
rocky
also
cliff.
he
Yeah,
trips.
yeah.
And then because he looks down, but then it's fine.
Yes.
There's no consequences.
no.
He trips for looking down, but then he just makes it over.
But at no point, he keeps going, we're almost there, and he's like, you keep saying that or whatever. But at no point does the dad say, why?
right.
We're not burying church in a pet
Yeah.
cemetery. We're going further.
Right.
My question would have been, why?
right. Or no thanks.
Yeah.
The whole time. As we keep
I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah. I'll stay here.
And we do get there, and it's the Micmac Indian burial ground, which is very Stephen King, only this time they use it. Because in The Shining, it's like on a burial ground, but they never really
Show
get
the
into
burial
it.
ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
This
just
was
say
an
that
It's a
interesting-
throwaway line. I don't know if that's even in the book.
Yeah, it's in the movie, but then this is a big part of the story, not a throwaway line.
Mhm.
I don't know why the Indian burial grounds are always so
they're-
haunted.
Well, and in this one, they say it's not because of the Indians. It's the ground went sour and the Indians moved on because they
Yeah,
knew the ground
they
went
knew it was
sour.
They
sour.
stopped using
So
it.
it's different
That's
than
true.
like Poltergeist, where it's like the
Ugh.
Indians are haunting them.
No.
Yeah.
That's so scary. That is so scary with our hands on the TV. That's another.
We still haven't seen it. We're going
Oh,
to.
Jesus Christmas.
I love that movie.
But,
But so I knew that Judd was, in my mind, I knew Judd was a bad guy when he says, "I've been here a time or two."
mhm.
So it's like, you know what's gonna happen,
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Why are we here, Judd?
I guess if you think about it, you're like, okay, if God forbid something like that did happen to someone you love, maybe not the cat or dog, but like your child.
Mm-hmm.
I get that even if it was like this child might come back and murder you, but you get to see your child one more time. Like that probably, you know, overcomes all the fear and you become like a different person because you're just like, I need to see my child again.
Right. But for a cat
but
that you don't even like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's not
if
even
it
your
was
cat.
more-
It's your daughter's cat.
Yeah, neither of them were emotional about the cat because I was watching this like, well, obviously I would have done this for my dog Charlie.
Right.
But that's me being like, it's worth it
Right.
for me to see her again. These people
They don't care.
don't care about the
No.
cat.
The daughter cares. She keeps asking how he's
But
doing.
then also, when he's like, why are we burying her here? Eventually he asks.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have
Jed
my
goes,
reasons.
I have my reasons. Period. We're moving on.
Yeah.
That's it. And like, not to be political, but seeing the hot doctor dad in a red hat through so much of
I
that,
wrote that down too.
I was
You
like,
did?
I
Like, why
just
is he in
feel
a MAGA
soured by
hat?
red hats
I
now.
didn't notice that,
That's
which
so
is
It just
surprising.
feels
'cause-
ominous.
Yeah, I was like, he's a Trump supporter.
And then I felt bad because I was like, I don't know if this guy would support Trump. Why am I putting that on him?
Yeah, don't put that on him.
After they leave, he's like raking the leaves, the hot dad,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of gives up. You see him like rake
Yeah,
a couple
like he
sections.
a little section.
Then he's like, done.
At that point, Dave and I were like, I like raking leaves. Raking leaves is therapeutic. And we're like, yeah, because like you can see the fruits of your labor immediately. We're like, yeah.
Not this guy,
Anyway,
though.
that's what was happening.
That's a good
when
point.
we were watching.
Not
it.
him, because it's still a mess.
No.
But he goes into the garage, and then he sees Church, who's been
Yeah.
resurrected. But what I love is later he's in the bath, and a rat gets thrown into the water.
Oh my
that
god, that
rat
part
was
made me
so
laugh so
fake.
hard.
Yes, because if you just drop it in, that's a cat. A cat could do that. Just
Like
put
a
its mouth
cat
at the edge.
overhand.
Yes!
throw a rat.
Yes. You could really buy that a cat just dropped it in with its mouth. Just
Yeah.
put it in and let it fill with
Yeah.
mud. But
I just
thrown
loved
at him.
when that happened, when the cat hits him and he looks up and he sees Church standing there. Brad was watching with me and he was like, I gave this to you as a gift. Like he's so offended. And it's like, well, that's what cats do when they're like, thank
yeah.
you.
Funny.
Yeah, it's true.
And the cat
It
had
means
that look
he
on
loves
his face.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did this for you.
He's like, you brought me back from the dead. I killed a rat for you,
Yeah.
even Steven.
Yeah. That's a
But
good
he
point,
does say,
Brad.
when the cat comes back initially, he lifts up the cat and he's like, you stink. There is no emotions.
Yeah.
He's never like,
Yeah.
thank God you're alive.
this miracle of a
Yes.
phenomenon.
Judd explains that like a rag man, I don't know what that means, told me about the place when my dog Spot died. There's this like weird conversation where he's like, I did this because, you know, I wasn't ready for your daughter to lose her cat or whatever. And then Hot Doctor's like, anyone ever bury a person up there? And he's like, Christ, no.
And he
Whoever
spills his water.
would
He spills
do
his
that?
water. Remember?
And it's like, but
What'd
you just,
say? Spits his
He
water.
spills his water. He was
Oh,
like
yeah,
having
yeah.
to drink a water when
Right.
he went everywhere.
he's like so offended. It's like, but you just did that with a cat.
That's
Right.
guilt. That's a
But-
guilty conscience right
You're
there.
right. You're right.
It's like so out of line. You already did this.
Oh, I want to point out, I think my biggest jump scare, because we passed it already, is before Church the cat
Ooh.
is dead, when he appears in the tree. I think that's like not
Oh,
zombie
yeah.
Church cat. I think that's,
That's regular.
yeah.
that
And my heart
was-
jumped, but it was just the fucking score. It's because it's this like really loud rumble.
That
and then this
music
"Rrrr."
was so cheesy throughout. It was so
You're right, but the score in that
cheese
one moment,
was good.
I jumped.
Well, that-
I was scared.
okay, so
but
I'm
it's
not-
just cheating. It's just a loud fucking noise.
I'm not a cat person. I don't have cats. Never have. But I'm a dog person. So the idea that they just let cats out to like live their lives in the world is always something that I will never understand.
I have cats, and I would never do that.
Yes.
because
I
we
didn't
saw the
Especially
cat.
if you live in front of that road.
That's
It's
what I
like
was gonna say.
the
He's like,
scene-
get him fixed. No, just keep him indoors.
Yeah.
The scene right before, the cat is curled up next to the daughter sleeping. And then
Mhm.
he is outside, and the cat has clearly jumped out of the window upstairs
Right.
onto the tree and is coming down to lead his like his double
Second
life.
life.
And that's what scares him. And he's like, oh, God, you scared me. Doesn't then be like, oh, we should get you inside.
Right. Why don't they make it an indoor cat when they live right by the road?
Especially because they just moved here. I'm like, the cat doesn't know
It
its
doesn't-
way
yeah,
around. lives.
Yes. Ugh.
So, I'm so mad about all the pet stuff in this pet cemetery.
I know. Thank God it was pet light.
Oh, I also love that that Pascal is like wants to help him because you tried to help me. I'm like, did he?
He didn't
Yeah, he did
anything
do a
for
great
you.
job
No.
of helping. Okay, when Church comes back, he says, I thought he was dead. I don't know. I'm not a vet. I do not have confidence in his doctoring skills.
No.
For the record. Let the record show.
Also,
Yeah.
more doctoring that I think is problematic is when he gets Pascal's file, he just throws it
Throws
in the trash. Can you do that?
That was like a student film moment for me. I was like, that's such a like, and now I'm gonna throw it in the trash. I'm done with that.
You're
guy,
dead now.
You know.
But also, and maybe this is too nitpicky, but on the front of the file, it looks like there's a Polaroid of him.
yeah.
It's like, how did they get that?
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's nothing else in the trash. It's like a completely clean, brand new, empty trash can, no bag, and the only thing in it is Pascal's file.
We love you, Stephen King, but we just have some issues.
So, the mom is listening in the kitchen when they have the talk about heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then she comes in. Then they have a talk later, and this was the one part where I was like, "This is really poignant." How do you say that?
Poignant.
Poignant. Jesus Christ. We just did like Dom Perignon, so I'm like all over the place with these pronunciations.
And I was like, I said homage, and Jessica corrected me, and I'm like, no, it is homage.
Yeah, so
Everybody
we're, like,
says homage.
losing-
It's wrong.
I am slowly. My brain is
interesting.
melting tonight.
But I care about that
But
word.
so she doesn't approve of talking about death and heaven and stuff. And I did like that she goes, "You know me. When I get scared, I get defensive." And I was like, "That's fair."
I wonder if they added that after because the director's like, okay, she's like, it's reading this way.
You
I know, but I was like, "Wow,
down,
that's a really good like look into yourself."
Yeah.
well, I feel like you don't ever need the line, "You know me," unless it's sarcastic.
Yeah.
Where if you're like, "You know me, not afraid of ghosts," like, fine, because you are afraid of ghosts, Jessica. But to go, "You know me," just lose that part of the line, and then it makes sense.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I might pull that out in a fight with my husband to be like, "Don't be mad. I
Well,
mean, you know me.
You know me.
what you
You
Yes,
signed up
but
for
that's a
this."
different inflection. You know me. When I'm scared, I get defensive. It's so different than, "You know me." When I'm scared, I get defensive.
But I also
Well,
thought
maybe
it
it's
was
my
weird.
reading of it. She might have done it.
No, she
different.
did do that. She wasn't like, "You know me, you should know this," because she's in the wrong. She's sort of being apologetic. It's different when it's like, "You know me, you know that this would upset me, don't do that." She's like, "You know me, this is my problem."
But I was like, wow, that line feels like you went to therapy.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, after that whole story, he says, "And if I ever needed another reason not to like your mother and father, I have one now." And I was like, what is the first reason?
I know. It's
Right.
like, what is this incident? Like, what has happened?
I wrote, what is the elephant in this movie? Because it's driving me crazy.
They never
I
tell
want
us.
to know what happened with them.
They don't ever
Somebody
tell us.
listening must have Steven's
Yeah.
number.
Is it in
Yeah.
the book? If it's in the book, please tell me what it is.
Oh, we never addressed the Ramones kicking in, because they also have that song, Pet Sematary.
They play at the end.
Well, they also play it when the truck driver, right before he kills.
Oh, do they really? I didn't notice that.
I don't think they're playing Pet Sematary, but they're playing the Ramones.
Well, yeah, it was because the director was friends with them.
Yeah, he was a
She
big
directed
fan.
music
Oh,
videos.
I read that Stephen King was a big fan.
Yeah, but that's how they got the
Oh, I
Ramones is
see.
because Mary Lambert directed a lot of music videos. She directed like Material
makes
Girl
sense.
and like A Virgin.
That makes sense. Also, when they leave, when the grandparents leave and the grandfather's like apologizing to Hot Doctor for his behavior, I went a little crazy there, or whatever he says, he shakes Lewis's hand, and Lewis gives the most dead fish handshake I have ever
Yeah, he like
seen.
almost doesn't shake his hand.
But it's
I
like,
wouldn't.
it would be one thing for him to just be like, "No thanks," but instead he just is a limp.
like a passive aggressive. Like,
It's just
is
a
that what you
limp.
mean?
I'm sorry, but you need to do a better apology, father-in-law.
Yeah,
that's
you
true. Yeah.
punched me at my son's funeral.
Yeah.
The corpse almost fell out of,
Yes.
you know,
Like there should be some sort of like a flower arrangement involved in this
Mhm.
apology.
an
Yeah.
embrace even.
Yeah.
I
maybe a
was-
hug.
yeah.
Thing, like,
I was
please
wrong about
forgive
you.
me.
I'm really sorry. I've been so mean.
I'm ashamed of myself.
It's so funny now that Brooke is talking. I can tell how animated I've been because I'm the only one with headphones on, and like the volume just got drastically lower. I'm like,
gonna
because
put
I've
my
been
headphones
yelling
on and listen.
because I'm upset.
Well, so with church comes back, and
Mhm.
the only thing that's really off is he's got very glowing eyes, which granted is not great,
You can tell his boo-boos.
and he hisses a lot.
You can tell his boo boos.
Yeah, like you can tell he has boo-boos.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
small.
yeah.
They're like
Mhm.
crusty, but
He hisses a
subtle.
lot,
Mhm.
and the part that always made me sad. I'm not a cat person, but I know enough about cats to know that like their ears shouldn't be down
Oh.
because that's like a scared thing, and those cats always look scared, which made me feel sad.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Church comes back, and he's just like, he seems more like a feral cat. He doesn't seem like, to be fair, it seems like Church has been through something.
Yeah, he's
And
got some
he-
trauma.
He's
Isn't
seen the
ready
other
to
side.
process it.
Mhm. He doesn't know how. He hasn't had the therapy that his owner's mom has had.
Yeah.
But But so now let's talk about the difference with Gage.
Yeah.
Gage is adorable.
He comes back as the Mad Hatter. Like he's wearing this like
He comes
fanciful
back-
outfit.
Well, he's wearing Zelda's dress.
Yeah.
With a top hat and a
Which,
cane.
how did you get
Oh,
and why?
I didn't pick that up.
I noticed
Yeah.
the dress.
Because when the mother comes back, she sees Zelda, and then it's not Zelda, it's really the kid who's playing a trick.
How did
Yeah.
I miss that?
Now, here's one thing I will say. Kids scare me in general. So in these movies, like The Omen or any of these, when you have a kid being creepy, it's not hard for me to be scared by that.
Yeah.
So this is going to really say something. I found his whole performance to be utterly charming and adorable.
I found
And
him very cute. even
I
when he
do
came
not
back.
think that children are adorable or cute. But even when he was like slicing the Achilles and he's like biting his mom's
He's
neck
like,
or whatever, I was
Yeah,
like,
he's so charming.
oh my
I
God,
know.
he's so cute.
I want to play with you, Daddy. Like, he
yes.
was-
Yes.
I
His
played
whole-
with mommy.
Oh, also,
I
can we
played with
say
Daddy.
before he's like
adorable.
zombie Gage, at one point when they go back for Thanksgiving and Hot Doctor calls, they're on the phone. He puts Gage on and he goes, "Hi, Daddy, I love you." And Lewis's face is so bored and irritated. He
Yeah,
looks
I
like he's so
know.
annoyed.
And then he says it again.
Daddy, I love you.
And
I
it's
love
like,
you.
say something back. Say
Yeah.
something. You're blowing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't say, I love you too, Gage.
"No," and he doesn't even smile happily. Like,
But
you're
like
the cutest kid
watching
in the
this
world.
kid's performance like made me want a kid. Even
Yeah.
though this is so like all these horrible things and blah blah. blah.
He was
But I
so
was like,
cute.
oh
Yeah,
my
he's
God,
really
I feel
Even when
something
he's
for a
dying,
child.
that's not fair.
He's
He's like, no fear, no fear.
That
He
was
walks
so
away going,
cute.
No fear, no
That
fear.
was
And then
really
he sits
cute.
down and just dies.
I know when I
Why
wanted to
wasn't he
hug
fighting
him.
back at that point. He just like gives up.
Because he knew.
He knew.
He
It was
was
like,
like,
yeah,
"Yes,
whatever
no.
it was poison.
No fear, Dad. And then
So
he
cute.
sits down
It's really cute.
and dies.
So cute.
Also, I didn't notice till the dad goes to dig him up, which is really creepy. And then there's that shot of like the cops coming, but they don't see him. So he
But also
makes
he
it and he starts
cradles.
cracking up.
He starts.
He's so happy that the cops didn't see him that he like has a laughing fit.
Maybe
Oh,
I
that
fell
I don't
asleep
remember.
during that minute because I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. But I remember that he cradles his dead son.
Oh, and
does.
he was holding it.
That's
that
relatable.
was poignant to me as a
Yeah.
mom.
I bought
Okay,
that
so
scene.
I
you know.
didn't get that because I guess like when I put my dog down, within minutes like you start smelling death.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to go. I can't be in here. And that was like right away. So I can't imagine days later.
Right, like the cat is so stinky after having been dead for a minute, but Gage is fine
He
after.
probably doesn't care. He's probably just in the like, my kid is dead.
That's a good explanation.
You know, in that headspace, like nothing matters. I'm just holding my kid's physical body.
Because there is
Yeah.
like a weird thing with death where like once death takes over, it is really like the sharp reminder of like our bodies are meat.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just bodies.
And it's
just
really
our
about the
vehicles.
soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice way to put it, and it's true. Also,
And in this, death is better. They say that so many
Yeah,
times.
They say it so many times.
So many.
Sometimes the person you put up isn't the person who comes back.
Which
Jeez.
then this is a test in a way of Hot Doctor's creed, and in a sense, Gage is the way that you gauge
Oh God.
the creed.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
But I really felt that when you see the headstone and it says Gage Creed, I'm like, oh, this is all like gauging that creed.
And I was also like, what the fuck kind of name is Gage Creed? And there was no years or anything written on. There's nothing written on the headstone, just his name.
He's like, I just need to do this formality so that my son can quickly come back. He's like, I'm not etching a date.
Okay, can we
So
talk about
true.
my absolute favorite part?
Sure.
And the movie that I want to see now
What?
is the really helpful ghost who's like arranging travel for her.
Oh, yeah.
I loved every scene of that, and I wanted to see that movie. So, like, the mother is coming back because she puts whatever together
Mhm.
that she needs to get home. And she is on the plane, and I love that the ghost is sitting behind her in economy.
Mhm.
And then when they land, she has to make another flight, and the ghost goes and holds the plane for her. And then when they're going to the rental car, they're like, we're out of cars. And the ghost reminds the lady that they do have one car.
With a big scrape on the side.
I like want to hire him to fly me back to New York.
Yeah.
I
Sunday.
know.
Wait.
I want to see that movie of like the helpful ghost.
Before they fly back, the wife puts together that something is wrong, and she's
Because
like,
the
I have to
daughter.
fly back. Yes.
Yeah.
And Pascal has this like very self-satisfied nod that's really cute and funny.
I loved him.
He's
He
great.
does. Yeah,
he's a comedy.
funny towards the end.
He's a
like,
comedic
It felt
character.
healing to me.
I feel like he's probably my favorite part of the whole movie, aside from the adorable child
But
But
murderer.
it
is so
went like
cute.
from
Child who's a
really
murderer.
scary to like very helpful and kind of kooky.
Well,
Yeah,
it
the
ends up
tone
not
changes.
being helpful. Like I
Well,
said, 'cause
right,
it just
like you
gets the
said.
wife killed.
Well, but he says, I can only take you this far.
But then he comes back after that, and I was like, that was a lie.
Well, he comes back to help the other guy.
Right, but
I think he can only take her that far. I don't know why.
Okay,
I don't know why.
But
I didn't write it.
also, when she calls and she figures out there's something wrong because he doesn't answer, first of all, there's the scariest painting behind her of a woman with a top hat. So that comes back, I guess, holding a flag or a whip and a cat behind her. So I guess it's
I didn't even
got
notice
some, it's really creepy, but it's in her parents' house. It's like at the grandparents' house. It's just the creepiest painting. And then my favorite, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this, Jessica, is when he doesn't answer, the grandma, her mom, goes, probably went out for a hamburger or a chicken dinner. You know how men are when they're alone.
The chicken dinner.
I have it highlighted
the
right
chicken dinner. It's so...
Okay.
It's just so, sexist.
But also,
just so
let's
random.
calm down and
Chicken
think about
dinner.
the idea that his son just died before his eyes. He's grieving. His family has left him all alone. And the response is, I don't know, he probably went out for a hamburger.
And also, where's
fuck
his
yourself.
family?
Yeah.
Where's the hot doctor's family?
That's a
Why
good
aren't
question.
they represented?
But it's like, it's so insensitive if you think about the fact that he's been through this horrible trauma
Yeah.
and he's all alone. Like, maybe he's suicidal.
Yeah.
Maybe when the phone doesn't ring, he should have come with us. Maybe you should reach out. I
Right.
don't know. It was so
Yeah.
callous to me just to be like, I don't know. I'm sure he's fine and is over the death of his son.
He's just having a burger.
Coming back, I think this is important to address,
Yes.
is the
What?
transphobia that you were like, I don't think it is transphobic. It's just, and like they said, it's just scarier. And I think that's the problem, is that we're scared. It's like to see a man in full drag. I mean, the scariest is like seeing the spine and the way that it's like ravaged the body.
Contorted.
But they specifically were like, this is a scarier image. So I don't think they were like bigots. I don't think they're like aware of what they're doing, but I do think it just perpetuates a dangerous thought, which is like people like that are scary. Because we see Rachel again, or Rachel's sister, Zelda. And so that just reminded me.
Rachel. Remember? That was scary to me as a kid.
That is scary.
Rachel.
Yeah. And like feelings of guilt surrounding the
Yeah.
death of a family member.
Yeah.
Now it's 2 for her, but
Well, and especially like she was 8. She should not be responsible for her sister's well-being or
No.
care.
that's really on her parents.
when they're
hands.
like, they used to make me feed her.
Yeah, and it scares her.
She's
She hated
8.
it. Yeah.
Parents,
Yeah.
maybe you should feed her.
You know what? It's
and then be
suddenly
nicer to her husband.
making sense why the grandparents take it all out on the hot doctor, because they probably have, it's all just misplaced, their own misplaced
Yeah.
guilt about not caring for their daughter. So that kind of makes it make a little more sense to me.
But why in the beginning? Before the son dies.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I know.
so
Yeah.
They don't tell us.
it's so hostile to be like, we have 2 kids together. We've been married for a while. I'm providing a very nice life for you. Your parents will never consider me family.
Right. I kind of wish that there'd been like, even if he had cheated on her once and she forgave him, but the parents didn't. Like, that's a simple, easy explanation. And now I know.
Especially because I feel like once you have kids with somebody, the grandparents are like, your family.
Right.
You gave us these children.
Yeah. Our
Nope.
grandchildren are half your DNA. Yeah.
Nope. Instead, this is a world where they're like, he should spend Thanksgiving alone. Think about what he's done, whatever that was.
Oh, also when they first go to the pet cemetery, this doesn't matter, but I'm just saying it because I really loved Mrs. Creed's outfit, Rachel's outfit. She's in these like, I feel like they're like plaid shorts
She's in like
and a button down. I loved it.
I really like the ending, by the way.
I do too. Okay, so he buries Gage. Gage comes back. When
Gage goes straight for the neighbor.
Yes, I didn't realize that was the neighbor's house
Beelines it
at
to
first.
Judd Crandall.
Yes.
right to Judd's house.
And his shadow when he comes home is really cool. You see the shadow first. It's like a menacing little baby
Judd goes
shadow.
upstairs.
It's much scarier than the kid is because the kid is so cute.
Oh my god,
So
the kid
cute.
is so cute.
But his shadow is scary.
Judd goes upstairs. Church the cat distracts him so that the little kid can slash his Achilles.
Oh,
with a
first he
scalpel.
also drops and rolls the ball, and I jumped. Which
Oh,
the
yeah, you
ball is a
throw the ball.
recurring thing
of The Shining.
In The Shining and in funny games. There's always that ball as a scary thing. There's something
Yeah.
about a ball rolling that is scary. I
It is
jumped.
recurring.
Yeah, it keeps coming up just in horror.
Slashes the Achilles,
Mhm.
which is terrifying, and then like saws through it with a scalpel, very surgical, and then bites his neck.
And he doesn't fight back.
He's in shock.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
He
like,
shouldn't
he's
be
probably
that
in a
shocked.
whole lot of pain from the Achilles.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, I
that's
can't
true.
even imagine.
That's true. All right, I'll give him that one. He's also the judge.
Thank you for giving him that.
Oh, let him have
How
it.
nice of you.
Did you guys connect that he is the judge in
Nope.
My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, yes. Sorry,
Oh.
I thought you meant in the small town.
No.
I was like, I didn't know he was the judge.
No, just the judge in My Cousin
He was
Vinny.
the judge, jury, and executioner for that family earlier.
Yeah, he really was.
Ugh.
He didn't know he was doing all
Well,
that.
and I just realized that the kid is the kid in Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
Oh, I still haven't seen it.
which I love. Okay, so that happens, and then the mom gets there, and she finally gets there after going through all the stuff. She does get in a truck that says 666 on the car door.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either.
That's funny.
And that takes her home because she had a blowout from the rental car that had the scrape on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she gets out, the ghost, Pascal, says something.
Oh yeah, and he
Says
leads
this is
her.
the end of the line.
Oh, yeah.
And he says something like, I want to say it's all going to be okay, but I don't think so, or something.
Yeah.
Something
right,
ominous.
Right, yes.
But she also doesn't go home. She beelines it for Judd Crandall's.
Yeah.
Does she hear something or see a noise?
Maybe she
or
thinks
something?
Judd
See a
knows
noise.
where her husband is. No, because she already called him, and he didn't know.
I
I don't remember if she hears. I feel like there must be some reason. Maybe she
Yeah.
hears a noise or something because
She
there's
didn't
a murder.
stop by the house.
She doesn't stop by the house.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Because at first I thought that she goes home, and then I was like, oh, wait, that's not her home.
Yeah.
And she sees Church outside licking his bloody paw, and again
Oh, maybe
says
that's
nothing.
why? Because she sees church, so she goes into that house.
Maybe, but if I saw my pet licking a bloody paw,
Right.
I'd be
Or
like,
maybe she
are
was
you
scared
okay?
and she wanted Judd to like
Help her.
her.
That's the most
Maybe.
reasonable explanation.
Because he
That's
is
a good one.
like
The
a
neighborly
world
old
without
man.
Judd in that situation is a scarier world,
Right.
regardless of whether he has evil tendencies.
Yeah.
His presence did make me feel some comfort.
He was
Yeah,
very warm,
That's
yeah.
true.
even
And
though
he was familiar
sucks.
with the town, and
Mhm.
he like knew his
He
way
had
around.
that grandpa sweet overalls vibe.
And he's like letting himself into their house at a certain point.
Yeah, I
too.
was like, does he have a key, or they just don't lock their doors?
So then they were like very familiar with him because no
Wait,
one was upset.
part
that
of what
happened.
makes Rachel fly back is the dream that her daughter has.
Yeah, Ellie starts having psychic dreams.
Yep.
Yes. And who does she say told her?
Pascal.
She goes Pascal.
Oh, yeah,
She
right.
goes
Yeah.
Pax. She goes says
Pax cow.
Pax cow.
Pax cow.
Yeah.
And then
That's
the wife puts it together and is like, oh shit, that's that kid.
Which is funny how quickly she puts it together, because the husband doesn't tell her anything.
And also, I think that's a HIPAA violation.
and he
well,
says,
I bet that that's because it's a small town. I feel like everyone
Oh yes,
probably
you're
knew.
right. You're right.
yeah, maybe. I mean, he says when he's like quote unquote treating Pascal, he says, my wife, I promised my wife not so much as a scrape today, or something like that. Like
Yeah.
basically saying that today would be easy. And then he basically has a dead guy on his first day. So I don't see him going home to his wife and being like, this is what happened today. I threw his file in the trash.
But
then
I feel like
also-
in a small town like that, it would be like, oh, did you hear about the kid that died?
Right, but
Yeah.
to that point, then the daughter probably would have heard too. So why is it so crazy that she's like, Pax Cow is telling me?
I
So
don't know. I mean, I could throw that away a little bit because she's so little that she
No.
might not know the name of whoever died.
I don't know. She has a vocabulary. That could stick in your brain. It's the first
They probably
experience
wouldn't
with
be talking
death.
about that though.
The daughter not knowing about him is the least of my concerns for this movie.
No, I just mean like for the mom to believe that she's having psychic dreams. It should be a
Yeah.
little bit more of a leap. But she's just like, oh, wow,
I don't
Pascal,
know.
that's that dead guy. Okay, I'm on the first flight home. But that's fine.
It does feel like, some of the other things have come true a little bit.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
And
It's
they're
mostly
very-
the fear of
I
the
would
cat.
also just be very worried about my husband because my son just died.
And he's alone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I'd be like, if the daughter's like, he's gonna die, I'm having, like, if the daughter's so insistent,
And then he doesn't answer.
yeah, that I would just,
And that makes more sense.
Yeah, I think he was.
I would
could
be
hurt
scared. I
himself.
mean, I guess I would just be really scared that my husband would kill himself because of, he blames
Went through a
himself.
trauma. Yeah.
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 And he should be with us.
Yeah, she's not supportive of him as a
Mm-mm.
husband.
Yeah. No. Quick.
I would
this
have loved a scene where someone was like, "It's not your fault."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone hug this man.
I know we need the Matt Damon, Robin Williams scene in this.
Me Earlier, I just remembered this, so I want to say it. There's a shot of the baby moving the little car along the floor, and it looked very The Shining to me, like when he's
Oh,
in the
really?
big wheel. Yeah.
I also didn't love that when the kid opens the trunk when they first get there, that the cat is in a clear carrier, but it's like packed away with the luggage.
Yeah.
And stuff.
They really don't know how to treat animals in this movie.
I know, and then because I knew that the cat was gonna die, so as soon as that happened, I was like, I pressed pause and I was like, please don't tell me the cat dies in the first fucking 10 minutes of this movie.
I
because
wasn't
I can't
attached
take it.
to the
No.
cat. I wasn't attached at that point to the cat. Like, I didn't have love for it, but I did also find myself monitoring how he put the cat cage in the trunk when he went to get it fixed. I was like, is he being
Weird.
too rough? Is he like,
Yeah.
Well, the scene before that, the cat's in the clear carrier on the counter while they're having breakfast. Like he's a goddamn mime or something trapped
Yeah.
in a glass box. I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
I also, I forgot what I was going to say. I guess it didn't matter.
I have a lot of cat issues.
Oh.
I love pets so much.
Just that I worried about cat safety because there were a lot of shots of the dead cat or the cat being killed or whatever where I'm like, that looks like a real dead cat.
So all I kind of read about this is that there were 7 churches, and
Mhm.
they were. I'm gonna keep pluralizing it,
Yeah.
and that they were each trained to do one specific thing.
Okay.
So it's like one cat would hiss and one cat would, lick its paw. I don't know. But so then the scene
but
where
sometimes they looked really.
the
Oh
scene
my
where he
God.
kills the cat
Yeah.
yeah,
is a real scene where he stabs the cat with something, and the Humane Society was there.
Okay.
he
good.
he gave it a sedative. And that's why the cat
in
does.
real life.
That's what it said on IMDb.
That's still
That's
kind of
messed up.
fucked up.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why that cat really does act the way it does.
Yeah, because you know what? That was real.
Yeah,
Like,
you could
Mhm.
tell.
we were both like, wow. We were like, that cat is that's
Give
an
that cat an
Oscar-worthy
Oscar.
performance right there. But like, there were moments with that cat. We were like, how did they get that cat to do that?
Yes. Yes.
But I don't like that they gave him that.
Yeah.
I don't like that there's so much of it the cat had its ears down in that scared posture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a happy cat.
I mean, it says the Humane Society was there for all this, but I also feel like it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So
one
like
cared. and-
the Humane Society might have been laxer than it is now.
Right.
I don't want to like accuse the
Yeah.
Humane Society. of anything. I take that back. I
Love
take that
Stephen
back.
King. Love the Humane Society. Wait, I thought Dave was like asleep by now.
No,
in and
because
out?
he was he definitely was in and out. That's for
Okay.
sure. Because I had to be like, Romy, you're like the worst person to watch a scary movie with. Like, why are you asleep? And it's the worst when you look over and you're like,
I'm
you
in this
think he's
alone.
awake. You know, I'm on
Yeah.
the couch sleep, like all huddled, and he's on this like chair over there, and I thought he was awake, like fully going through it with me. At like one point, he's like. I look over, he's like on his phone, like deep in the internet. I'm like, are you not watching this with me? And then he was
left me
sleeping.
hung out to dry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the mom, we got so distracted. The mom goes into the house. She walks in, and at first the house is like, it looks like an acid bomb went off or something.
Mhm.
And then it turns out that the kid is like, I played a trick on you, and everything
Mhm.
looks normal. Didn't know the kid could do that.
Yeah.
And then she
Very
goes upstairs.
powerful.
She finds she thinks she sees her sister,
Right.
and then she sees her son dressed
The
as
cutest
sister
little
with
the
a top hat and a
cutest little-
cane.
He looked like Tom Petty in the video. You know what I'm talking about?
I
With the
don't.
Alice in Wonderland when he's the Mad Hatter.
I
The
think I've seen
kid was.
stills.
Oh yeah, is that which song is that
Don't
for?
come around. here
Yeah.
no
Oh,
more.
that's so great.
Hey.
The kid is so cute.
He's,
He's
really
really
cute.
so
I want to
cute.
see a picture of him right now.
So cute.
Oh, I saw. Well, he has like a bad soul patch, so I couldn't
Oh,
see past
no,
the soul
Flavor
patch.
Savers.
I think, I think he might still be good looking. I have like a blindness.
He
with the
looks
soul
like
patch.
you know they probably cast him because he was like that Emma Watson. Like Emma Watson's gonna be cute till she dies. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he's got that quality. Like
Yeah.
When
he's
he's so
just a
little, he
handsome
was like
kid.
31
so
months or
cute.
something.
Oh my
Like
God.
so
Oh my
little.
gosh.
And I looked on IMDb and I was so impressed. I was like, oh wow, this is his first movie. And then I was like, of course it's his first movie. He's like 31 months. However old that is.
He's barely even alive.
Yeah, what? I like he should have had a blog list before that or
Yeah.
something. Okay, so then he kills the mom. We don't see it, but we hear
Mhm.
it. And then the dad wakes up and there's the little tiny muddy footprints everywhere.
Yeah. Which when did he come into the house and why did he
We
spare
saw
the dad?
it. He came in to get the scalpel
Then why didn't he kill his dad?
because he had beef with Judd. I don't know.
I thought
Why
also
dad
that-
and Judd? I mean, why mom and Judd? Why not dad?
And maybe he sensed who was around, like in the moment. They're like, "Oh, Judd's home."
Maybe.
Yeah, but the dad was right there.
Maybe because they said earlier. Now this is all gonna fall apart. But maybe because the dad says that that's Ellie's cat, and then Judd says no, that's your cat now because he buried it and brought it back to life. So maybe by burying the son and bringing the son back to life, somehow there's more allegiance there.
I would buy that, except that he does still try to kill the dad.
Well, I would buy that, except then when the mom comes back, she immediately goes to kill the dad. But I don't know.
I'm going backwards a little
Right.
bit, but like I thought it gave me a chuckle when he goes dead Gage goes to his dad's old-timey medical bag and takes out the fancy box that held the scalpel, and I'm like,
so true.
Very
this
pristine.
this is not how
You could just grab-
doctors in the 80s, late 80s, like they don't have like an old-timey doctor bag.
That's
like,
so true.
You know, they take home their scalpel.
That's so true.
Small
and
town.
you
small
could
town
also just
doctor.
like grab a knife from a drawer.
Yeah.
Every time that she called him Doc, it just made me feel like I was watching Doc Hollywood.
Oh,
It's
I thought
a,
of like Bugs
a
Bunny.
big city doctor who moves to the small town to be a doctor. I was like, this is just Doc Hollywood. Just more scary. So then the mom dies. He wakes up. He gets a phone call from the kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I played with Judd. Adorable. Imagine the most
Yeah,
adorable
so
sounding
cute.
voice ever. I played with Judd. I played with mommy. And it's like,
Now I'm
I
gonna
played
play
with
with
mommy all
you.
night.
We had such a good time.
And then he goes over there. First, he kills the cat
Mm-hmm.
with a syringe. And then he
Mhm.
goes inside to kill.
Or he at least
Gage.
sedates the cat. I didn't know for sure if it was dead.
I think he kills the cat.
Okay.
I think that's the.
A lethal dose of sedative.
Yeah, because then he gives it to the boy, too. So I think
Right.
it was a poison of some kind.
Okay.
I don't know.
So he
I'm
finds
not
his
a
wife
doctor.
hanging, which seems very complex for a child demon, a baby demon, a toddler demon.
Well, they were playing all night. That was the game.
Oh, okay. String mommy up. Great. Fun game.
Yeah, and then he kills. I'm just like rushing to the end
Yeah,
real quick
yeah.
because I want to get to the very end.
Yeah.
And then he kills the kid. That's not fair. Whatever he says, it's so
No
cute.
fair. No fair.
No fear. No fear.
And then he immediately he burns the house down, takes his wife to bury her, and Pascal was like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I fucked up because I waited too long, but she's only been dead for a few minutes. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she's been dead for a while. So then he ignores the ghost again and buries her. She comes back, and the image of her coming back with like her messed up stockings, just
one shoe.
the cinematography of that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
the
was
one
good.
shoe and her like bloody stockings.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Yeah. I like the images both times they come back. Like I love the shadow of Gage and then like the feet.
Yeah.
so
the
good.
shoeless,
I
one
like
shoe
that, too.
missing. Because he finds the shoe before he finds her
And
body.
you never really you never see her face again, and
You do see her face.
you do. Oh, with the eye.
Yeah.
Yes, because there was one.
It
eye.
pans up and she's missing an eye.
She's missing
and
an
she
eye.
is like gushing some sort of fluid.
And he French
yeah,
kisses
fluid
her.
from
And he makes out with
He
her.
Frenches her. She's got this yellow ooze like
oh, it's so
squirting out of his
good.
eye, and he just like tongues it. Like,
And he is
not
he
deterred.
has lost it, and he starts making out with her.
Yeah.
It's
He's
so-
into it.
He's
Yeah,
never been
he's-
more attracted to her.
Again, that question of smell, not a problem.
not a problem. For Doc's sexuality.
And then she grabs a knife, and that's all we see. Like,
Well, we
she's
hear
not-
it. We
Oh, okay.
hear him scream.
And then it goes into that that music, the Ramones
Yeah.
song.
Oh, yeah.
That's like kind of like, ha, it's over. Like it's it's almost like a fun song.
yeah, I wonder if it thinks of itself as a funny movie.
Yeah.
That whole ending scene with her coming back was, I think, my favorite part. And it's like I wish
Yeah,
I wanted to
too.
see more of that.
Ah,
The kind of playfulness of that. I feel like we spent so long building up the movie, and then
mhm.
like the Gage part was so short, and then we got to her and it was so short. I don't know. I just wanted more of that kind of fun.
Yeah, I hear you on
He's
that. I didn't
lost
want
it with grief, and he
Yeah.
is glad to have them back, however they come.
Right. I would have that. I guess I didn't want that sequence to be longer because I like how short and tight
Right.
it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, more of that playfulness.
Yeah.
Because I think there could be a real metaphor on grief in this about like losing your son and just loving him no matter how he comes back
Mhm.
to you, that I feel like we didn't play with enough.
I also feel like by the end, I'm like, oh, he loves his wife more than his son.
Right.
Okay.
And no one loves that cat.
And that
Yeah.
daughter's she's just shit out of luck, stuck with those evil step
I
Yeah.
know.
grandparents.
Or zombie mom.
Yeah.
She
or
comes
zombie
back
mom.
to zombie mom.
Yeah.
I also love
They're
that
in
he
court
picks up the
fighting over
phone.
custody.
Remember, he's like trying to find zombie Gage, and the phone rings, and it's like, oh, she's fine, everything's fine. It's the grandparents calling, and then they want.
Oh, that part.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, he knows that his wife is dead, and he's like,
She's sleeping.
Yeah,
I guess now, if you know that he's going to try to bring her back, that makes more sense.
It's
Right.
just
You
so
don't want word to get
suspicious.
out.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of in high school. This is off, but I got wasted at this kid's house, and I didn't come home. Like I wasn't home by 10 o'clock, and my mom calls and is like, hey, is Brooke there? And he's like, she's not feeling well. And she's like, she's not feeling well. And he's like, she's sleeping. Meanwhile, I had like 10 shots of Jack Daniels and I was upstairs passed out covered in puke. But it's like, she's sleeping. You know what I mean?
That's the best you can do.
Yeah,
She's taking a big shit right now.
She's shitting.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I actually half expect him to say she was like on the toilet, but he
Yeah.
didn't. Don't you have a supernatural story for us? Or do you want to say something first?
Oh, no.
Jessica?
I'm not sure how, like, this is not going to fit.
Well, if it doesn't, we can always cut it.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, so this is going to sound sad, but I'm totally fine. But I ended up having a miscarriage, and I do believe in like spirits and something obviously beyond death and whatever, and I was having my surgery, and they've got me on.
You have to have a surgery?
Well,
after?
yeah, after a certain point, like if it goes too far, like it has to be surgically removed.
Oh wow, this is even more traumatic than I realized.
I know, but that's okay. But it's okay because it happens, and what the chromosome that was wrong was so wrong that I could have had like a really like bad baby with like one eye in the middle of their forehead, like very, very bad. But anyway, so it was for the best. Their body takes care of it. They know what's up. So I'm there and I'm laying in like recovery, and I'm like in this like weird state, and I'm looking at my body, and there's a little girl next to my bed, and I can't see her face. I can just see the side of her hair, and I don't know what she's doing, but she's waiting for me by my bed while I'm getting better, you know. And I'm like coming to, and we're on our way home, and I like remembered, I'm like, oh yeah, that little girl like was waiting by my bed. And my husband's like, oh, creepy, like I just got chills, whatever. And then, you know, you have to get, sometimes they test the genetics to make sure like everything's cool in your body, whatever, see what happened. And so I went in, and the doctor, I asked him, I'm just like, hey, I don't know if you know this, because it was sort of early, but like, do you know if it was a girl or a boy? And he's like, it was a girl.
Mm.
So I do think there's something else. It's like a message from beyond.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Wow.
see if
She's
you're
okay. She's watching
she's okay.
after
She's
you.
watching. She's there too, seeing if you're all right. And I totally was. But
Wow,
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
that is.
I mean, not really related to Pet Cemetery, but it's a supernatural sort of.
no, it feels related
or
somehow.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the loss of a child, and in this case, it
Yeah.
wasn't a child that you could know yet, but then you
Yeah.
got to have this experience with her.
yeah.
And I think even the fact that she was supposed to potentially be born with some sort of deformity or a handicap or combination, like you seeing just sort of like the side of her,
the
and
spirit and the soul
Yeah.
and like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is just our body, our like
Mhm.
meat vehicle or whatever
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
said. And but yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So you
No.
have this like
Mhm.
feminine spirit watching after you.
Yeah, and also like I think spirits could come back. Like that same spirit baby could come back.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh, I love
not.
that.
You know, I don't know. Either way, though, it was. I feel like it was there.
Yeah.
Anywho,
I love that. And it's very brave of you to share, even though, like you
Yeah.
said, you're an open book. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's just,
that's the thing about podcasts. Like, if you're an open book, like sometimes you're married to not an open book. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes your partner's like, "Can you chill with the open book?"
but I don't know. Vulnerability is like, I think,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the word?
That's
like
my
the
mom
best
is always
thing.
scared that my husband is mad about how much I talk about him on the podcast. Like my mom is mad on his behalf. And like one day I just said something innocuous of like, oh, he's just not really interested in listening to it right now or something. And she was like, is it because of what you said? Is he okay? Like, she's already on his side and he's fine. Like, calm down. Be on my side.
That's a crazy story.
And thank
Yeah.
you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having
Oh my
me,
gosh,
you
thank you so
guys.
much. Do you want to plug anything?
Well, if you live in LA or actually anywhere, you can go see the Mortified show. It's in so many places. New York, LA, freaking all over the country, all over the world, actually. And that website is getmortified.com. You can go look at my Instagram
Yeah.
at Miss Brooke Stone. Yeah, and that's it. I'm also in a movie called it's called Albanian Gangster, and that is just being released tonight. So that should be on streaming.
Cool.
Yeah, it was with the girl from The Human Centipede, Ashley Williams, that I was telling you about. So it was neat to meet her after seeing
Is
the
it scary?
clip. No, it's not scary.
Okay.
I mean, no, it's not scary.
Okay. Albanian Gangster.
Yeah.
Miss Brooke Stone. Are you on Twitter?
I am, but don't follow me on Twitter. It's back off, homie. It's like my Twitter has gone from like funny jokes to like literally hating the president. So it's like you can see the change in my Twitter, and now it's just like angry yelling. So don't go to back off, homie. It'll be unless you're into crazy yelling. Like I told Don Jr. to die recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's like it's intense.
Thank you so much.
Anyway,
Yes.
bye guys.
This was a
thank
blast.
you. And thank you
So
for
nice to have
listening.
you.
You can find us on Instagram at He's Right Behind You Podcast. And please, if you're on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe.
You're a delight.
Thank you. I was hoping I would be.
Brooke was like, are we going to have enough to talk about?
Always.
Cut to 4 hours
I know.
later.
By the way, you guys, we gossiped for a solid hour before we started.
Oh, in the spirit of gossip, I thought, if it's not too upsetting, I thought a fun game we could play with the cast of this movie is Fuck, Marry, Kill. And I would definitely fuck the hot doctor, marry the little boy, because he's so cute, Gage, and kill maybe the father-in-law, if you guys want to chime in.
Oh, okay. I would also fuck the hot doctor because he's got
So
hot in
hot.
the word. I would marry Pascal because I think he'd be great
Dang.
for traveling. I'm very stressful, and he seems like very confident. And then
That's good.
what is kill? Judd, why did you
knew it.
bring us down this whole path in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, I obviously would fuck the hot doctor. I would kill the wife because I just hated her so much. And I would marry Judd because
Oh no.
I felt comfortable when Judd was around in this movie. Like, I did not want knowing Judd to go anywhere. And also, he's got a bit of an edge.
I see
like
that.
that.
Judd would have been my runner-up, actually.
Yeah.
And I do want to be clear that it would be a non-sexual relationship
yeah.
with Gage until he turns
It'd be an
18 or
arranged
21.
marriage.
Yeah, the sex would be with the doctor, his dad, but the marriage would be the sweetest little boy that ever was.
Great idea, Avatar.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for clearing that up.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Let
thank
us
you.
know who you'd fuck, marry, or kill.
From this movie, we don't need to know in your personal
Yeah,
life.
yeah, from this movie.
If
Or
you say
just
like,
you want to tell anyway. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
if you
comments,
just
maybe
say
like-
I'm gonna fuck Matt, I don't know who Matt is. That
Yeah, you
doesn't
can
help
tell
me.
us, Or like send a link to their
Oh,
Facebook.
God.
Yeah.
Just for the movie or for previous movies.
All right, yeah. Previous
Our
movies are
movie
good too.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or if we get bored and just want to go on like an Instagram K-hole.
Yeah, tag them.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Thank you
On
for
the
listening.
tag who you want to fuck, marry, or kill.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.